Namaste, divine beings. I am Nandhiji, and I am inspired to talk about consciousness as the solution for us individually and the hope for humanity. Consciousness is the idea unstoppable in time that we share. Each of us aspire to be greater, vaster, stronger. We wish to be a ninja. We wish to be more happy. We wish for more love in our life. We wish and aspire for success. All of this is related to consciousness. The only thing as wealth we carry from birth to death is consciousness. And from death to birth, we carry forward consciousness as the imprint of our soul. Within each is the aspiration to light the inner sun and awaken ourselves to being the vaster spirit having the human experience. The Siddha sages of India are beings who journey beyond enlightenment, expanding consciousness. In the states of consciousness, we are the emperor, whole and complete as the sun itself, and all our realities go around us. The ancient wisdom of the sages, consciousness, was and is the foundation of India, that forever is to vibrate in the light of the teachings, to draw beings to awaken to the higher self. Alexander the Great began his conquest, moving through nation after nation after nation, reaching all the way to India. He was told by Aristotle, his guru, about India. Aristotle was taught about the wisdom of India by his guru, who had been to India. So when Alexander came to India, his first seeking was to find a realized master. And when he did find that realized master, he woke up to the truth of the consequences of action and the law of karma and dharma. Awake, we understand that we are the emperor without having to rule the external world. All it takes is being the core epicenter that expands from inside out. We know never to cause harm on anyone as a law of nonviolence. We are open to greater grace that multiplies us as in consciousness. Within consciousness is the ability to be the vastness beyond compare. A worm through its entire lifetime could have moved a few feet, and yet an eagle in a matter of seconds would have crossed that distance. This is the difference between consciousness and being unconscious. So when we wake up, what really does happen? As spirit having the human experience, the I within ourselves has become the we. We see everything more in the greater form of wholeness, and that of all of humanity, and that of all the living, and that of the entire planet. So when we do yoga, meditate, we are attaining consciousness to expand and multiply ourselves to the greatness and vastness that we already are. We are recognizing the greater self of ours that propels us to the states beyond the mind, the state of Turiya. Yogi is called the state of Turiya, the sleepless sleep. Here we are mighty inspired beings who have gone beyond hunger, who've been able to transcend the limits of the body, which is heat and cold and hunger, transcend the limits of the mind, which is dream and sleep states. And now we are in a place where, as we are the recipients of higher wisdom. We have woken up our inner guru, the inner sun. Now, our each moment is scriptures. We are liberated from the past, liberated of dogma, liberated of the mind, liberated of our circumstances, liberated even from collective human karma. Beings like Christ, Buddha, wherever they went, they had a huge following happening around them. Soon they left behind what is today religion. Christ as Christianity, Buddha is Buddhism. Where a conscious being is, leadership automatically is. In today's dimension of awakening, we realize that when we wake up, we are gifted with being free, being liberated to experience our light of wholeness. As whole, we are the sun. All religions are true to the content of consciousness they hold. In this knowing, we as conscious beings move humanity further. We have expanded our own states of consciousness. Beings like Einstein, Mahatma Gandhi, Rumi, all these masters knew. They held on to that knowing. They were able to persevere through resilience, through constancy of failure. They were able to come back into doing what they did. Through all the trials of life, they triumphed because they knew that knowing is the wake up, the gift of consciousness. Consciousness gives us with a heart's purpose. Knowing the heart's purpose, we are inspired beings, transforming and evolving and growing each moment. As we go through the dynamics of change, knowing the only constancy within us is the epicenter of light that we are constantly expanding. We are bliss-formed beings. Sachidananda, the name of Lord Shiva as the Yogi, the being formed of bliss. And this is whom we are. With consciousness, peace, harmony, coexistence, abundance in all its forms is natural. Humanity thrives where consciousness is. The power of dialogue is greater than having to settle differences with violence. The power of understanding and the greater idea and thought enables each to expand their potential while knowing that science and spirituality are one and aligned. Freedom of thought to create greater wisdom enhances a society in all its forms. So, in all of this consciousness is, where do we begin? How do we sustain our journey inward to attain more of consciousness? What is to be done to be in the constancy of the spirit having the human experience? First, know that time binds us. Time is like a cage. Our entire lifetime could be a blink of an eyelid. And yet, in a blink of an eyelid, we could capture the eternity of the moment. If we can understand time from this dimension, that we are in a we are all in a shelf life, and that particular time that we have as experience is the most precious, invaluable moment. Every moment of a happiness needs be arising from the epicenter of ourselves, which is in bliss. In other words, every thought arising out of our center of bliss is reflective of happiness and wisdom. Now, in the reality world, it's always going to have its ups and downs. Whenever we face the ups or the downs, if we are if we are witnessing and experiencing this from a bliss state, we are able to take the good out of it. We receive a criticism, we see the wisdom within the criticism to take out, and we see what needs to be ignored. Likewise is when we pass through grief, we understand the temporary nature of human, and we know the love to hold on to as eternity. So through all these ups and downs, our wisdom carries us forward into enabling us to go deeper within, to expand our consciousness, understanding time itself as the cage of experience. Break free from the time. Once a day, once every 24 hours, source connect. Call God in any which name, or the nameless. It does not matter. It is between ourselves and a higher self within ourselves. Light a lamp. Source connect. Meditate. Connect the finity of our experience to the infinity of being each day. When we do meditate, when we do yoga, deep within is the rapture, the power of divine vibrations. And in these vibrations is the time when we are receiving the grace of sacred unions. The grace of sacred unions expands us. Think of the moment when we are in states of ecstasy and joy. Where is the mind now? It's literally not there. This is the incubation moment, giving birth to greater realities at any given time. When we are in this state of absolute joy, focus, like when you're as an artist drawing or when you're singing, there is the moment of us being so totally absorbed. At this point, where is the mind? This is the state of Turiya, the states of higher consciousness. Can we have this? Can we have this higher states of consciousness all the time? Yes, this is possible. This is the yogic teaching. There are several tools of consciousness, and the first tool is, within all of this, is our breath itself. Know where we are breathing from and where we are breathing to. Inhale from the roots, cling into a mantra. Mantras help our mind fixate on a focus into a single point. And that single point being source, that which we have put our focus into, that we become. Exhale to source, infinity, infinity, infinity. If each breath we are inhaling and exhaling to and from source, we become the epicenter of bliss. The next dimension is when we do yoga, or when we meditate, or when we dance, or when we do anything that causes pleasure and enables us to go within. Hold that space as the most sacred. This is a personal space. Ask of yourself this question: am I an emperor? Am I a slave? An emperor owns time, a slave does not. An emperor gives herself or himself the time to have joy, the time where our vibrations are to its peak, when we are enjoying ourselves with the highest of vibration. This is so important as to giving ourselves this space and this higher vibrant time and moment. The next dimension is know that every chakra, energy centers within us, creates its own realities. When we work with each chakra from the root chakra and upwards, every chakra has a vibrancy that reflects in the realities we manifest. From the yogic wisdom, mantras activates each specific facet of energy. So utilize mantras from the root chakra to the chakra above the navel, the mastery of the five senses, to the chakra to the heart that opens us to being love, to becoming love, to being the love formed being, to the chakra above the throat, which is to dissolve away all the past lives' karma and come to the now, to the crown chakra, which is being the pillar of light itself, to being the vortex of light, at all times. Being the vortex of light at all times, we know we are guarded, we are protected, we are in the company of all the light beings around us. Another dimension of as a tool to consciousness is invoke all the masters. The more the merrier. Let make a prayer asking each master to gift us with wisdom, to show us the pathway. When we meditate, understand that we are the pillar of light, and around the pillar of light, we are surrounded by all the masters of consciousness, waiting to be asked for higher wisdom, waiting for waiting to guide us as the human. There is a story, an interesting story of my guru Raja Sami, who left his body last month. He would go to the forest with his guru Kakapujundar, and in the forest, in the evening, peace would vibrate around him as he was meditating. All the wild animals would come and start sitting down before him. My Guruji Raja Sami was curious about this, and he asked his guru, he said, all these wild animals and birds come and sit around you. There's something beyond that and more than that. Could you tell me what it is? And he would mention, when we are human, we evolve. When we have left the body, we can evolve exclusively through serving the human. So when we meditate as being the pillar of light. And all the angelic beings want to serve this light. And they come in all its forms to serve the light by way of giving us the wisdom, by way of being the foundation of interactions in our life as beings around us who have a beautiful mind. So just be the light and invoke all the light to serve us. This in reality is the power of consciousness. Another dimension within consciousness is to know that in mastering consciousness, we are able to sleep well at night, to wake up with a pristine mind. At all times, we are expanding our consciousness. At all times, the higher vibratory state is drawing to itself more of higher vibrations through realities. In mastery of consciousness is the journey of now, the moment of now that is constantly evolving. How does that evolution take place? Beyond thought is the mind in its different states. Sleep is like a womb time for the mind to go and regenerate itself into a greater mind. Before sleeping, go into the meditative states of the mantra chant. Let the mantra chants be in the subconscious field. So when we sleep, we are only entering back into the subconscious state of the womb-like angelic being we are. When we emerge from sleep, we are the many. We have multiplied ourselves. So within waking up and being asleep is the time to generate our energies. While awake, each breath, expand the breath. With the breath having expanded itself, wisdom is a natural birth that our mind is generating. Our mind constantly is in its beauty of its pristine moments when it is in core harmony. My teachings of mastery of consciousness is on how each of us can set alight our inner guru to wake up, to be the master, to be the emperor, to allow ourselves to be the fullest of potential. So each of our thought as wisdom uplifts humanity. So each of us can lead ourselves and all the other vibrant light to the greatness of humanity. In the journey of consciousness, we understand that the dynamics of change we affect by way of the power we have woken up, which is vitality, rejuvenation, joy, passion, intensity of focus. We are the master manifestors. Through all of our journey is the peace within, the peace we share, the peace that is in each of us. So, divine beings, not a moment in the human should we take for granted. Time is so vital from the moment we wake up to the moment we sleep, and through the journey through sleep, each moment of time, when it is like waves beneath the timelessness of the ocean that we are, this ocean of timelessness, the core within ourselves as consciousness, produces the beauty of wisdom and the external heavens for ourselves and for all of humanity. As in consciousness, as the we, may humanity be in ascendance. Saivam Vetri. Saivam means oneness, Vetri means victory. Saivam Vetri is the intent of all the sages. Let consciousness triumph. Let light triumph. Let consciousness be the form of each of us as oneness. Gratitude. Namaste.